It's so nice to be here. Thank all of you for coming today to announce a new NORA Façade RENEW agreement to help rebuild the storefronts in what have traditionally been known as main streets in the city of New Orleans. When I was a lieutenant governor, I had the great pleasure of traveling around the state with Main Street grants that were basically given to small cities in rural areas. And one of the things we noticed was that in big cities like New Orleans that had previously been divided into small cities, those programs did not apply. And so in the Lieutenant Governor's office, we created something called the Cultural Products Districts, which this city took huge advantage of. And this city council designated, if I remember right, Scott, 27 cultural product districts that help spur economic development in particular areas. And now, many years later, we jump forward. It is ironic that Mr. Rowdy Godet, who is with us today, who's the Chief of Staff of Louisiana State Office of Community Development, is with us because he worked in the Lieutenant Governor's office. Rowdy, you grew up well. You did great. We have Mr. Jeff Hebert, who's the Executive Director of the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority. Carl Connor is a board member who is with us. Of course, we have Maurice Cox, the Executive Director of the Tulane City Center. This is a partnership with them. Carol Bebale of the Ashe Cultural Arts Center. And of course, we have Susan Guidry and Kristen Gislison Palmer, two council members that have really been helpful in this regard. This is going to be a $1 million fund that's dedicated to help revitalize commercial corridors. We are really interested, as we continue to get more aggressive on blight, both on commercial and residential, to start helping business owners on like corridors on Oretha Castle Haley start to redo their facades. This is very significant. Even when you give small businesses a little bit of money, you create an incentive, and it's a matching program. Really what happens to those corridors is magical over time, and of course there's no better example than the work that's happened on the Oretha Castle Haley Boulevard in the last couple of years. But this particular incentive amount of money is going to be used on Bayou Road between North Broad Street and Esplanade Avenue, O.C. Haley Boulevard between Calliope and Jackson, St. Claude Avenue between Mandeville and Franklin, St. Claude between Congress and Poland. These are going to be one-time reimbursable matching grants that are going to aid in our effort to fight blight. And as I've said, we have really done a great job as a city on this particular issue. As you know, Professor Peter Yarkey from UNO verified that we have reduced blight by over 10,000 units in the last 4 years, which is by any stretch just a really incredible amount of work. We still have a lot more to do. We inherited over 40,000 blighted properties in the city, which is almost more than any other city in America other than Detroit. But the program that we have put together is really robust, and I want to thank everybody for the work. We have also, as you know, as my grandmother would say, put elbow grease into this. This is what we do on NOLA for Life Days. We've done 6 days where we ask people from the community to come out. Sometimes we have upwards of 300 volunteers. We roll up our sleeves. We get to work, we hit hot spots, we take down blight, we fix street lights, and we fill potholes. NORA has also helped us secure $30 million from the federal government to reinvest in blighted properties. We now have 500 first-time home buyers through our Soft Second program that is working really, really well. And NORA has invested more than $8.6 million and leveraged over $74.6 million to revitalize 300,000 square feet of commercial space on Oretha Castle Haley Boulevard, Broad Street, and Gentilly Woods. And of course, it really has been amazing as you see the development going on. On the Lot Next Door program, we have more than 811 properties that have already been sold. In 3.5 years, 3.5 years, the model has brought people together. We have invested a huge amount of money in job creation, which I have spoken about before, beginning with 4,500 jobs that will be created with GE Capital, Game Loft, Cold Storage, Magnolia Marketplace, which is just really going to be a spectacular renovation. And of course, Whole Foods on Broad is going to be open very soon. And last week we opened Circle Food. For those of you that were there, you have to be proud of the work that you've done because that was a triple home run. That rebuilt the historic back to work. And it was beautiful. All of the work that we do, and I've said this many, many times, it's the new New Orleans way. It's really about partnerships. Everything that's succeeding in this city has a similar recipe. It's partnership. It's federal, state, local. It's public-private. It's faith-based. It's not-for-profit. That is the new way that is rebuilding the city of New Orleans. So I'm thankful today that NORA is partnering together with the Tulane City Center and the city's Main Street organizations to make this happen. Coming together, making things happen, getting things done. That's the new order of the day. And I thank you all so very much for all of the work that you have done. And of course, none of this is possible without the help of a great city council. And we have two council members here today that are going to speak to us, Susan and Kristen, if you come in that order. And then we'll have Jeff Hebert, and then is Carl with us? From NORA, we have a board member from NORA, Rowdy, Goday, Carroll, and then I'll finish up. So please help me welcome Susan Gittner.
Thank you, Mayor. And you know, it's fitting that the day is so beautiful because we have so much to be thankful for, and we should be patting ourselves on the back because we're working really, really hard to make all this happen. I just want to speak for a minute to the Bayou Road Cultural Corridor. It's one of the New Orleans' most culturally significant corridors. It intersects and joins together several neighborhoods and council districts. So I'm very, very excited that this work is going to be done on Bayou Road. It's got so much art, it's got so much history, it's got a lot of great funk to it too. And it's so New Orleans, Bayou Road is. And I've been fortunate to be involved in some of the initiatives on Bayou Road, such as the Streetscape Project and the Joan Mitchell Center and all of its efforts. And there are a lot of people who also have been involved with bringing the Bayou Road back. The people who live in that area, the people with the small businesses in that area, some neighborhood associations such as Faubourg St. John, the Downtown Neighborhood Improvement Association, Broad Community Connections. And now NORA is stepping up with the Façade RENEW program to offer incentives that will assist in strengthening locally owned businesses. We are sure that's going to result not only in a stronger community, but a stronger tax base. And we're very excited about it. So thanks to NORA, thanks to the mayor for helping bring this in.
Susan, appreciate it. Kristen?
Actually, when I was a community volunteer years ago, I worked with the neighborhood to bring down to New Orleans the very first Main Street program in Old Algiers. That was a good 15, 20 years ago. And we really saw firsthand as a neighborhood what happens when you partner with businesses. And you know, one of the corner tenets of any Main Street program is a facade easement, or facade donation, or working with a few different facade improvements. And we would see small mini grants of $1,500, $2,000 really being leveraged and impacted by the greater community. And we all have to remember, it's these commercial corridors and it's these small businesses that are literally the backbone of all of our communities. We know every dollar invested in there stays within our neighborhoods and within our communities. And that's really the importance of this. So, you know, I really saw this very firsthand many years ago. We see it continually, the work. I do want to speak to St. Claude Main Street, that is just in my district, and it's just been doing wonderful, again in partnership with residents, with the community, to really make these improvements. Are going to go a very, very long way, on top of all these wonderful infrastructure projects that the mayor has incorporated, that we've been all working towards for quite a few years now. And I also do want to thank the leadership of Jeff Hebert in really bringing this to NORA. I think it's a very important place for it to be. I think that we can really leverage, again, further resources. I want to thank the state and MCD for their work in partnering with this. And again, to reiterate what the mayor says, this only happens by true partnerships at a very localized level, starting in the neighborhoods, going through citywide, and the state and the Fed. So I just want to thank y'all once again for doing this today.
Jeff Hebert, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the kind words. This has been a work in progress for about a year. And the mayor always pushes us to develop new programs to combat blight and bring back our neighborhoods. It's only fitting that we just sort of annex a program that the mayor spearheaded so many years ago when he was lieutenant governor. So really briefly, I just want to give a quick word of thanks to those who are responsible for putting this plan together and having this move forward in the areas that we're going to be working on as sort of a pilot for this. Melissa Lee, who's behind me, who's the program manager. Melissa ran a similar program in Brooklyn, New York, very successful, so we're happy to have her here with us. NORA Jason Neville, who also did a program like this in Los Angeles, who's from California. And Gian Jordan, who did this on French Street. Where's Gian? Oh, there she is. So thank you for all the good work. Bill Gilchrist and Deputy Mayor Cedric Grant for their help in really pushing this forward. Maurice, Dan, and Beth with the Tulane City Center for all of their work in helping us get this on its feet. And I couldn't do this without our funding from our state partners at the Office of Community Development. Rowdy Gaudet is here for all their help. Lauren Tishner, and Tamar, who's also here, who are the project managers for this at the state, who will help really work to put this forward. I will also say that this is some disaster community development block grant funds, and the flexibility that we've had over the past several years in doing this would not be possible without the help of Earl Randall from HUD. And Earl, and I couldn't do this without my partner Brenda Bro, who's our Chief Operating Officer here.
Yay, Brenda.
Everybody putting this together and our Main Street partners. We're very excited to get this program started and rolling. After this, for all that are interested, you can come upstairs to our fourth floor conference room. Melissa will be giving a presentation on the program and give details of how you can participate. So thanks, everybody.
Rowdy, why don't you go Rowdy, Gaudet, and then Carol?
Thank you, Mayor. As Mayor and Jeff mentioned, these are federal disaster recovery dollars. And I wanted to say a little bit about that, but to echo Jeff, I wanted to thank the partnership we've had with Earl Randall, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. These dollars, these federal disaster recovery dollars, are appropriated to the state of Louisiana and funneled through our agency. We couldn't do it, we couldn't operate this program and these dollars without our partnership with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And Earl plays a critical role in that. Also, Lauren and Tamar, who manage this at the state level, thanks to them. The dollars for this program originated from the recovery dollars that were appropriated to the state, but they're actually proceeds from the sale of properties. So to me, it was sort of symbolic that these are proceeds from dollars that Congress entrusted to us that are now being reinvested. Dollars going beyond recovery. This program symbolizes going beyond recovery. This program moves to New Orleans' new generation, next phase. And when I thought through how these dollars were started with the disaster, but now have a new use and a new intention, I thought that was pretty striking. And to the credit of NORA and to the City of New Orleans for their forward thinking. So we appreciate the partnership there, and thanks very much.
Carol, be back.
So it's so apropos, I think, that we will be standing in front of the sculpture, which was done as a tribute to Dr. King. And it really is a tribute to him, but it's also a tribute to the power to dream. And it was like 30 years ago when people started trying to dream this boulevard up into something different than it was had become. And so I stand here as Ashe's director, but also the president of the Merchants and Business Association and the vice president of the Central City Renaissance Alliance, and saying thank you to all of those involved who helped to kind of contribute to the dream that we were having. And for those of you who don't know, our name